They don't tell you that the price of being chosen is loneliness reached, and so you often walk alone. It's not because you're unlovable. It's because your energy is too intense for the average soul. Your presence demands truth. It exposes the fake. And that's painful for people. You're not trying to isolate yourself, but something about you creates space, a silence, a mirror. And most people aren't ready to see what it reflects. The world glorifies popularity, but the chosen ones are rarely celebrated in real time. Distancing themselves after you started growing spiritually, not because you changed for the worse, but because your evolution made them uncomfortable. You began seeing through conversations, past masks, and straight into the soul, and that terrified them. You weren't playing the game anymore. You stopped pretending, you stopped shrinking, and when that happened, the room got quieter. Friend circles dissolved. Invitations stopped. The phone rang less, but the answer was ... nothing. You did everything right. Friends that once laughed with you now avoid you, not because you've become someone else, but because you've finally become yourself. And the truth is, they were never friends with that version of you. They were friends with your silence, with your mask, with your smaller self. And now that your spirit has expanded, their comfort has collapsed. It hurts, doesn't it, to pour love into people who can't receive it, to show up with loyalty and watch them disappear the moment you stop people-pleasing. They want validation. They want a mirror that doesn't show them their own wounds. But you, chosen one, you are a walking awakening. You carry presence that makes people confront themselves, and most aren't ready for that. That's why even in rooms full of people, you feel like a stranger. It's not paranoia, it's spiritual intelligence. You're not given the luxury of ignorance. You can't fake it. You can't force connections that no longer carry spirit. You can't stay where your heart isn't safe. And so, God isolates you, not as punishment. You'd keep casting your pearls to swine, hoping they'd see your value, but they never did. They only saw what they could take from you. Your light, your time, your softness. And when you stopped giving it, they vanished. Sometimes it feels like betrayal, but in reality, it's protection. Rejection is God's redirection. He saw the jealousy before it turned into sabotage. He heard the conversations behind your back. He felt the envy hidden behind those forced smiles, and so he cleared the space. He made you feel lonely so you'd stop settling for counterfeit company. And it's painful, let's not lie. It hurts to watch people you loved become strangers. It hurts to realize that your loyalty was one-sided, that your presence was only appreciated when you were convenient. But that pain, it purifies you. It sharpens your discernment. It teaches you that not everyone deserves access to you. The chosen ones are often forged in isolation. Your wilderness season wasn't an accident. It was a sacred design, a period where God could speak to you without distraction, where He could break every dependency, where He could strip you of everything you leaned on so you'd learn to lean on Him alone. And when He did that, who was secretly praying against you? Who was watching you not to support but to sabotage? They grow with you. They don't shrink when you rise. That's the kind of alignment God is leading you toward now, because they were never meant to go where you're going. Your calling is too heavy for weak connections. Your path is too narrow for crowds. You weren't meant to blend in, you were born to stand apart. And sometimes, the price of being chosen is walking through seasons of painful solitude. But don't confuse being alone with being abandoned. God never left you. In fact, He's been the one carrying you. You lost delays. You lost people who were blocking the blessings attached to your destiny. There's a weight that only chosen ones understand. The weight of being the strong one, the dependable one, the spiritually awake one in a sea of asleep souls. You've probably been the one everyone runs to for advice, but has no one to run to when your own world falls apart. You smile through storms. You give when your cup is empty. And you love even when it breaks you, because your spirit is wired for depth. You don't know how to do anything halfway. That's why betrayal cuts so deep. That's why abandonment stings so sharp, because you weren't pretending, you were real. And they couldn't handle that. But hear this, your isolation is your preparation. Every tear you cried in secret is being collected. Every silent night is birthing a louder breakthrough. You're not alone because you're unworthy. You're alone because you're sacred. And sacred things are protected, not paraded. God is not withholding connection from you. He's curating it. He's aligning you with divine friendship souls that carry the same fire. Hearts that don't get threatened by your light, but are ignited by it. That's what you're being prepared for. But to get there, you first had to understand what love is not. Love is not silent competition. It's not spiritual suffocation. It's not being tolerated. And that's why this season of loneliness feels so painful. Because your soul has outgrown friendships. You've evolved past gossip circles and drama. You crave depth, alignment, energy that uplifts, not depletes. And until you meet that, God will keep you hidden, not to punish, but to preserve. You are rare. And rare things are not easily found. They're not exposed to everyone. They're discovered by those willing to seek with pure intention. That's how God sees you, as treasure, and He won't let just anyone have access. That's why your circle keeps shrinking. That's why every time you try to force connection, it breaks. Because you're not meant for force. You're meant for flow, for peace, for purpose. And when the time is right, when your heart is healed and your energy is guarded, the right people will enter. Not to complete you, but to complement you. And they'll understand what you've been through, because they've walked the same lonely path. They'll see you not just your light, but your wounds, your strength, your softness, and they'll honor it all. No competition, no pretending, just soul recognition. Until then, chosen one, keep walking. Your loneliness is not your ending, it's the soil for your beginning, and what's coming will make sense of every silent tear, every unanswered prayer, and every friend that walked away. You are not forgotten. You are being refined. And soon, you'll see why the pain had to come before the promise.